This video is on solving proportions. We've already talked about proportions and that proportions are two rates or two ratios that are equivalent or equal to each other. We just got done talking about ratio tables, and we've used ratio tables to help us find equivalent proportions. Example would be the Cajun chili caper. We used ratio tables to find the ingredients that were proportional to the extra amounts of the red pepper flakes that were added to the chili. So let's take a look at this example. Larry gets a dollar bill for every 10 dimes that he takes to the bank. How many dollar bills will he get for 130 dimes? So we've learned to set up a ratio table, put in our units, dollars, our labels, dollars to dimes. Our first rate was $1 for every 10 dimes, and we want to find out how many dollars would he get for 130 dimes. Now this ratio table is a little bit smaller than the ones that we're used to. The ones that we've made previous days have had more columns in here so that we could list the multiples, where we could go list the multiples of 10 until we got to 130, like 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on, and then do the same up here for the dollars and do multiples of 1 until we found our missing amount. We also saw with ratio tables that you could find the scale factor, and what we're going to do is we're going to go from using the ratio table into straight to a proportion, writing a proportion where we use the scale factor to solve for the missing amount. So the way we set up a proportion is we're going to write them in fraction form. In the first fraction form, the first thing we're going to write is always going to be your labels. You have to write your labels. In this case, our labels are dollars to dimes. And the reason why we do this is it helps us remember that all of the dollar amounts will go in the top of our fraction, in the numerator part. And all of the dime amounts will go in the denominator or the bottom part. If we don't have our labels, it's very easy to get them confused and just switch them up. So you need to make sure that you always have your labels first, dollars to dimes. If you don't put your labels, then you're not going to get full credit for any of the work that you do. Okay, our labels are here. Let's go ahead and look at what we're told. What is the first rate that we're given? We're given $1, which means 1, for every 10 dimes. So that's our first fraction. Our first ratio, our first rate, 1 to 10. And then we're told that he has 130 dimes. We know the amount of the dimes goes on the bottom. And we're looking for the number of dollars. So this is our proportion. 1 to 10 is proportional to what number of dollars the 130 dimes. Here, look for our scale factor. 10 times what number equals 130? 10 times 13 will give us 130. And as we do with fractions, whatever scale factor we use in the denominator, we do the same thing to the numerator. 1 times 13 will give us 13. So he will get $13 bills for 130 dimes. Another must when dealing with proportions is that your answer needs to be in a sentence format or a statement. Our question was, how many dollar bills will he get for 130 dimes? You need to answer that. He will get $13 bills. It's not 13 to 130. Okay? They're not asking for the ratio, they're asking for the number of dollar bills, 13. Let's try another example. The snack mix recipe calls for 4 boxes of cereal for every bag of pretzels. How many boxes of cereal are needed if 3 bags of pretzels are being used? Okay, what is it that we're comparing? We are comparing the cereal, the amount of cereal, to the amount of pretzels. Those are going to be our labels. So we set up our proportion. We start with our label, cereal to pretzels. So all of our cereal amounts will go in the top, will go in the numerator. All of the pretzel amounts will go in the denominator. What rate are we given? We're given 4 boxes of cereal and a bag of pretzels. So that's 1 bag of pretzels. So our rate is going to be 4 cereals to 1 pretzel. And then we're told, the question is, if we have 3 bags of pretzels, then how many cereals? So the 3 pretzels will go in the denominator, and we're looking for the number of cereal. This is our proportion. Again, find your scale factor. What can you multiply 1 by to get 3? Well, it's going to be a scale factor of 3. And 4 times 3 is 12. So our answer is going to be 12 boxes of cereal are needed. It's not 12 to 3. That's not our answer. That's the rate. Our answer to the question is 12 boxes of cereal. Okay, one more example. For every 6 tapes that you buy, you get 2 tapes free. If you bought 18 tapes, how many free tapes would you get? Go ahead and pause the video, work this on your own, set up your ratio, your proportion the way you should with your labels, and then once you have your answer, come back and check it. Okay, let's see how you did. Your labels should have been buy tapes, free tapes, or bought and free. 6 to 2 is what you're told. It's the first rate that you're given. 6 tapes that you buy, you get 2 free. And they want to know if you buy 18, so that goes up here in the numerator on the buy line, how many would you get free? That should be your proportion, and you should have gotten 6 free tapes as your answer. Okay, homework check number 1. Pause the video. You need to work this problem out on a separate sheet of paper that you're going to turn into class tomorrow. Make sure you write your proportion the way you should, along with the labels, and put your answer as an answer statement. Once you're done, continue the video. Okay, sometimes unit rates can be used to solve proportions. Sometimes just using scale factor by itself is not enough. Let's take a look at our first example. The Millers drove 105 miles on 3 gallons of gas. At this rate, how many miles can they drive on 10 gallons of gas? So we're going to set up our proportion like we normally do. Do your units first. We're talking miles to gallons, so miles to gallons. The rate that we're given is 105 miles, so that's going to go at the top or in the numerator. And the 3 gallons of gas will go in the denominator. And then we're told that we're given 10 gallons of gas, and we want to know how many miles can be driven. Okay, normally, from right here, we would go ahead and find the scale factor. Well, is there a whole number that we can multiply 3 by to evenly give us 10? No, there's not. In this case, we need to go ahead and make this first rate, make it smaller, find the unit rate. Once we have 1 down here in the denominator, then we can multiply 1 times 10 to get our 10. So to find our unit rate, we divide both numerator and denominator by 3. So 105 divided by 3 is 35. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So our unit rate is 35 to 1. Then we can see, 1 times 10 will give us 10. So do the same thing to the numerator. 35 times 10 is 350. So our answer is 350 miles on 10 gallons of gas. Okay. Homework check number 2. 3 average-sized apples contain 180 calories. How many average-sized apples contain 300 calories? Go ahead, work this on your paper. You're going to turn this into class tomorrow. Make sure you set up your proportion correctly with the units. Make sure you have an answer statement. And once you're done, that is the end of the video.